Chess.com released their vote for the 2021 Chess.com Awards official article. Now, one of the things that you can vote for is the game of the year. Now today, just to get you familiar with all of the options that you have, we're going to take a look at all of these 15 incredible games. Now each one of these features some instructive idea, some instructive moment that I will be highlighting in this video. Now if you like these games just as much as I do, then leave a like in this video. And also I very much encourage you to comment down below which game you thought was most instructive and most beautiful, and also press the link in the description to go to this website and vote here as well officially for the game of the year. Thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. So game 1 was the 136 move long game that just happened in the World Championship between Magnus and Jan. It was the longest game. It spanned nearly 8 hours, and well, one of the biggest highlights of this game was skipping to move 53, where Magnus played the move rook takes a3 here, taking a pawn, giving black the ability to take back and win the exchange, but understanding that these two pieces are simply too powerful, and the attack on black's weaknesses is gonna be unstoppable. Game 2 was maybe the novelty of the year, and Fabiano on move 18 played an incredible move. It was right here, bishop to c4, a novelty and an incredible one at that, giving away a bishop, but evaluating the fact that A, the king is in the center, B, the king is in this forkable square, so this next move, bishop to d6, takes full advantage of that. You cannot take back because of the fork, and now tactics like bishop takes bishop, knight takes, and then knight check are possible, and because of all these complications, it's impossible for black to play fully accurate here, and black already managed to make some mistakes in this position, and white pushed into an endgame where there's only two possible results. Either they win or they draw, a perfect position to be in, and white, for the cherry on top, managed to actually win this endgame as black resigned in this position. Game number 3 was one of the quickest queen sacrifices that you're gonna see. Magnus Carlsen played in this position, bishop e3, eyeing the queen down, knight takes knight, h4, and now knight takes b5, giving away the queen. Now white cannot take back the knight because of the pin, so black does get 3 pieces for it, and 3 pieces for a queen is materially sound, and also positionally gives some great chances for the pieces rather than the queen, and you can see how incredibly dominating these pieces are, and very quickly black managed to totally crush white in this position, and it's game over. This shows the strength in numbers, the warrior's motto in a chess game. Now the next one, also by Magnus Carlsen with the black pieces again, and this one is total paralysis, incredibly quickly. Actually, from a normal opening, it must be said, white got into a state where just look at these pieces. They are huddled down into a ball. Black has all the space in the world, and it's just now a matter of converting. You can see that because of the lack of space, white decided to sacrifice material multiple times right here, giving away the exchange, and again here begging for black to release the tension, but black does not, and instead pushes into a state of total paralysis, and white was forced to resign in this position because of the immense pressure that Magnus built up. This next game, game number 5, showed incredible brilliancies back to back, and we can go here to move 22. You can see the black king already looking relatively exposed in this position, and here taking advantage of the cramped position of this king. This would be checkmate if the queen was not on c7, so queen to e5 check, and after queen takes there's checkmate. So instead of taking rook to g7, but I said back to back for a reason, rook to d8, another brilliancy here, the queen this time forced to take, and now checkmate in 2 is played. Incredible brilliancies in a position which definitely calls for them. This next game, game number 6, was one of the few games where Magnus lost. We had many games where Magnus played the immortal game, if you will. But here, Magnus was actually crushed by the white, with the black pieces by white here, after this incredible find. Knight takes b5, and after pawn takes, knight takes knight, bishop, and guess what? The king is in the center, not castled, so queen to c3 simply wins here for white. These pieces are so loose, and white went on to win this game. The only question I have is how long did it take white to play knight takes b5 in the opening, because I know if I'm playing Magnus, it would take me a year to convince myself to sacrifice a piece like that against Magnus Carlsen. Game number 7 teaches an incredibly important lesson on why you should not think materialistically and you should not be greedy. And here white won a pawn in the opening and got more greedy, wanted another, took on h6, which was a horrible mistake because now the rook has a huge scope towards h1, and combined with this bishop, that is basically suicidal for white. And after knight takes f5, it's already looking horrible. Bishop to g5 does seem to hold everything together because the queen's attacked and everything here seems solid, but knight takes h4, the explosive move to open up the h-file, and after bishop takes c7, the knight simply returns. The nice thing about mating nets is that they're super hard to get out of, and here, after bishop to h4, very calm, knight takes h4, giving white some time to try to find a way out, but guess what? There's no way out. How are you stopping this checkmate on h1? It's unstoppable. The queen decided to come in, give a check or two, but in the end, white decided it's game over. Rook to h1 is unstoppable. Incredible play here, showing the power of mating nets and an important lesson of not being too greedy. This next one, a nice little title, Catch Me If You Can. We can see that from the opening, both sides look good here until this knight to b5, giving away the knight, making incredible, powerful threats along the a and b file. These pawns are just beautiful here, almost unstoppable. In fact, black had to proceed with incredible caution and give away back some material only to survive. And then we have this position here where the king on h2 seems super unsafe, but white shows no fear in this position and plays perfectly. Queen to h1, and now simply king g3. Queen to g1, and now knight to h1, and the king simply runs away, and black tries to catch the king as the title suggests, but the king hides on h6, and now it's already game over. There's nothing more black can do here to attack the king, and these bishops, this rook and this queen, are now going to pressure this king, and this king actually becomes a nice little aggressive piece, perhaps showing the ability of the king to attack in the middle game. Super beautiful game, and the king simply runs to safety. This next one really highlights a similar lesson where material is not all that you need in chess, and here after the move d4 and queen takes d4, white voluntarily gives away the exchange, understanding that this development compared to black's total lack of development is going to crush black. And conceptually this makes sense, and here specifically it does as well. Black had to find some brilliancies just to survive, but even here it's super uncomfortable, and white here, being Fallujah, managed to crush this open king in the center and win the game in beautiful style. Game number 10 shows the power of the queen. We've already seen a situation where the queen was given away by Magnus Carlsen, but now let's observe the incredible power that a queen holds. We can see that here white decided to give away the bishop and then give away the rook. Here black, instead of taking, played a nice tactical sequence, queen takes e3, and then only took, but white was left with only a queen, and now the power of the queen really can shine. The queen activates itself, taking pawns, putting pressure on these other pieces, and of course doing what a queen does best, making threats and making forks and winning material, and it was already game over here. Game number 11 is a pitch perfect game showing exactly how one should attack in the opening. We had a very interesting and common opening. The Nimzo Indian defense with this f3 move from the opening, and somehow we reached a position where black just totally collapsed. And here white played first c5, opening up this diagonal, which then sets up this next move, which is knight. Well, first queen to e2, also very instructive, allowing the queen to come in, but now knight takes h7. And the only reason this works is because of the last two moves. This diagonal is open, and so is this one. So after king takes, if the king chooses to take, there's check, bishop to c4, and mate is on the horizon. So rather than taking, the king said, no problem, I'll take this pawn here on c3, tuck away. But no, said white, sending more forces in, and after escaping the checks, more forces come in and ending it in incredible style. Queen to h7, check, and it was game over here, just to show why. If knight takes, then bishop takes, and you got some problems on the back rank, buddy. Beautiful game here. This is indeed how you attack. Slow, methodical setting up with c5 and queen to e2, bringing every piece into the attack, and then crushing your opponent. Now, game 12 showed not the power of the queen, as we saw a couple games ago, but the power of the bishops. Black gave away the queen relatively early in the game, evaluating that these bishops are simply too powerful, and the queen and rook are outmatched. And this is a correct evaluation. As you see from the eval bar, the queen tried to give some checks, but ultimately was forced into an incredible defensive state. And now these bishops, along with the rook, is able to shine, and black ended in incredible style. Rook to a3, threatening checkmate. How are you stopping this one? Beautiful game. Again, material is not that important as these games show. Much more important is activity. Game 13, promote your pawn. I literally don't care. You can see that black got some incredible space on this queen side from the get-go, but white did not care and continued to push on the king side, even letting black make even more progress on the queen side. But this attack is too powerful. You can see a brilliant sacrifice on g7, dragging the king into the open. And in the end, black managed to promote here, as you can see. But this doesn't matter. This attack is too powerful. It's already game over, and checkmate occurred in the center of the board where the king is on d6. Number 14 supports a lesson that we've learned again and again, which is that material doesn't matter as much as activity. And here we see that with queen takes d4, and after knight to g4, giving away the queen for only 2 pieces. A queen is worth 3 pieces, so this seems suicidal, but guess what? This open h-file, these bishops that are going to come into the game very shortly, are just too powerful, and this king is very much exposed. And you will see this happening really quickly, the other rook sliding in. And once again, material is not what matters in chess. It is how you use that material, and we've seen that again and again and again here. With this final move, rook g4, simply taking all of the space on the king side. These rooks, knights, and bishops are just totally dominating over the position. Now this last one here, number 15, teaches an incredibly important lesson about drawn positions. Even if a position is theoretically drawn, you shall always try to push for a win. And here, for example, in this position, well, first let's appreciate this beautiful queen sacrifice, giving away some material, and later, as you will shortly see after some trades, giving away an exchange as well. And after the trades of the knights and rooks, what are we left with? We're left with 2 bishops and a pawn. And as you can see, after king to a1, these 2 bishops versus the queen are so powerful that theoretically black has a draw here. However, black evaluates that this position is better for them and instead tries to go ahead and push as much as possible for the win. Something you should definitely try to do. This queen is so passive here. It has no squares to go. Whenever it leaves, then there's always going to be ideas of promoting here for black. So this queen is tied down. These bishops are so powerful. So even though it is a theoretical draw, black decides to push for a better result. And how does black do this? Well, they transfer their king from the passive state on g8 to the much more active state on f3. Now, this takes many moves, around 50 to be exact. You can see the king shuffling almost randomly, but they do have this plan in mind of eventually transferring the king over to the f3 square, and this plan is finally set into motion here when the king arrives on f3. And now it's simply game over, because black basically just got an extra piece in the attack. This pawn's gonna promote sooner rather than later, and of course you can't take because it will promote immediately. An incredible example of, if you think you have some sort of advantage in the position, then don't be afraid to push, even though the engine might say that it is a theoretical draw. These 15 games were so instructive, each one teaching a valuable lesson about chess. If you thought that these games were just as beautiful as I did, then leave a thumbs up on this video and subscribe for more videos like these. Again, I encourage you to take your vote for what you think is the best in the comment section below, and also on the official chess.com website, which you will find linked in the description. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you next time. Peace out.